Shalom. I want to start with giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Kakadash, double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone for teaching us scriptures, among other things, and salutations to all the Akyam across the earth for doing this work in sincerity and in truth. So, yeah, man. This lesson I want to go into. Basically, that the Most High have given us the herbs, and you gotta realize, we are created from the earth, so the earth got everything basically to heal you, and that's what it is. That's how the Most High meant it, and that's actually, the way that we should go back to, and for us and us, I mean, like, the hopeful elect, those who understand this word and those who do their best to please Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, for us it's very logic, to when we got something that we look up what kind of herbs might help and all that, and yeah, but for a lot of people in the world, it's not that logic, and if I look at myself, like years before I found out about the truth, I was already focusing on natural healing. I didn't, for years ago, I didn't want to take any medicine. And of course, sometimes, you might find yourself in a situation that you have no choice, whether it could be for pain killing or whatever, if you need to do an operation or whatever, you had, say that, they need to numb you or whatever, give you a morphine or whatever, things like that might happen, you don't know, but in general, we choose, if I speak for myself, namely, I choose to the natural way, and like I said, I've been doing that, even before I found out about the truth, I was already, looking at natural curing, and like I said, that's how Yahweh Basham Yahushai, has planned it to be. But yeah, like I said, not for everybody it's gonna be as logic, because yeah, since you are in this truth, and even if you before also been focusing on natural remedies, then it's not hard, not difficult, and and to the spirit, the Most High will show you whether it, when you're looking for something, or whether brothers might come with things, somebody might dream, and like I remember for myself, like one of the brothers, had also a family member ill, and that dream spoke about ashwagandha, and then he came to look it up, and that person in his surrounding was he was looking the benefits of ashwagandha up, and it was really it really had all the benefits for that person in that brother's surrounding, and which is very beautiful. And if I look from like in my own surrounding, I remember like my sister years ago, I don't remember exactly if it was a kidney or a liver. There was something wrong with it. She was in the hospital, and when she came out the hospital, they said that she became a diabetic patient, basically, And I told her, like, okay, the thing that you need to do, start using cayenne pepper, in your food, and if you are able to drink it, just push your basically your tolerance level with it. And she had been doing that for a couple of months. Then one day she called me and she said, "Brother," I said, "Yes." She said, "You don't guess. You have no clue what happened," and I really didn't have no clue. And then she told me that it completely disappeared. She was no longer a diabetic patient anymore. She went to the hospital, to the doctor. I don't remember exactly, and for an basically a checkup, and they found out that it was all gone. And that's also thing. Many people been talking about it. That the cayenne pepper, it can help. and that's also a way we have to say it like this, because otherwise uh, YouTube gonna throw like a medical disinformation and flag the video. But the facts is, of not the facts, but the thing is, a lot of people been talking about the benefits of cayenne pepper, and what they say is that it really can helps. Basically, it helps with everything that concerning that got to do with your blood. Whether it be your veins or your heart. Things like that. So it's very good even to take that from now and then. Cook it with your food or whatever. So that's very good, and also good for your throat. I remember like when in the winter time, when I had a cold and all that, I used to make something to drink for myself. Like a sort of iced tea with ginger in it, and like sweet wood, and what more did I put in? Or like mental tea. I put that in it. What more? Mm, ginger, melted tea. What's that name? In Dutch they call it weegbrei. Also some tea kind, which is very good for your yeah, basically for your throat and all that, for your breathings, everything that got to do with breathing. So yeah, man. So I use, that's a thing that I used to mix, and the cayenne pepper, you can feel it, when you have like a cold going on, and you drink it, it really gets those bacteria in your throat. So there are many things, basically the most, and thing that I believe is that nothing is uncurable. And like I said, I've seen things in my surroundings, in my direct surroundings, even around with brothers and all that, basically, uh, yeah, how people got rid of all kinds of diseases and all that. Yeah, if I look at my mother also, my mother went in the hospital like 2 years ago or something. Yeah, even more. I think it's almost 3 years ago. Yeah, I think it's 3 years ago. Maybe even before. I don't remember exactly, but a while. Basically was not doing that well, but I put her on all kinds of herbs. And also to the brothers, they also told me like use this and that. And my mother was really ill. She was not able to do anything. Basically had to lay in bed, and she really got weakened from illness. But to the herbs and to the spirit and power of Yahweh Basham Yahushua, eventually I was able to get her out of the hospital. And I went to her every day and gave her basically some natural stuff, to eat and to drink and all that. And when she was at home, and I also told her, and I prayed to Yahweh Basham Yahushua, for mercy. And I told her, like, when she came in the hospital, she was really afraid, and that's really a thing with Jake, because that's what they do. Recently also my father also died. Also my father died, but also due of lacking things that they didn't do in the hospital and all that, and things that they had to do. And this is a thing that's really common amongst Jake. When Jacob descendants, when we get older on an old age, and we enter into the hospital, are people already realizing that we might not get out, because that's also the hatred that these devils have for our people. So they're going to take care less of our people. And so a lot of times, when Jake is at a certain age, past the 70s, around the 80s or something, and Jake gets in the hospital 9 of the 10 times, or maybe eight, but it's a high percentages, concerning of Jake not getting out of the hospital. Basically the hospital being the final station. So yeah, man. But yeah, like I said, it's very important, and to the spirit, the power of Yahweh Basham Yahshua, he will reveal things to you, what you can do, whether it be two brothers or by a dream. Oh, that just when you are surfing the internet, basically just you make your eye fall upon something, you be like, hey, I might use this or that, things like that. So let me just read. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 38 and verse 1. honor a physician with the labor, or lucky, with the honor due unto him for the uses which you may have of him, for Yahweh had created him. Yeah, everything is Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing. For of the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the King. And that's also thing, the Most High heals, he wounds, he bring it to life, and also ended lives. It's all in the power of the Heavenly Father Yahweh. He's in control of everything. You know, if you read the book of Job, chapter 1 and 2, also, it shows you that the Most High is in control. The skill of the physician shall lift up his head, and the sight of great men shall be in admiration. So, like I said, the natural cure, that's basically the thing, and like I said, for, especially when you are in this truth, you will learn about it. The Bible talks about it, and it's not for no reason. uh Yahweh had created medicine out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. Yeah, if you are wise, you will not abhor those medicine. You will use them. Was not the use of water made sweet with wood, that the virtue thereof might be known? And he had given man skill, that he might be honored in his marvelous works. With such doth he heal men and taketh away their pains. Yeah, like I said, with the Heavenly Father, nothing is gonna be impossible. And like I said, the Most High, it's all Yahweh Rakazah. The Most High is in control, so he can also made it go away. I remember like last week, one of the brothers also had a problem, I believe, with his shoulder or whatever. And he said he prayed over it, and it just he woke up one day and the pain was not there anymore. So things like that. Yeah, like I said, nothing is impossible with the Heavenly Father. Like Yahweh Shai told his disciples. Let me see. And he had given man skill, that he might be honored in his marvelous works. Verse 7. With such does he heal men and taketh away their pains. Of such does the apothecary make confection, and of his works there is no end, and from him is peace over all earth. My son, in thy sickness be not negligent, but pray unto Yahweh, and he will make thee whole. Yeah, and believe in him. That's what it starts with. Leave off from sin, because to sin you also might get illness. Leave off from sin, and order thy hands aright, and cleanse thy heart from all wickedness. And the word heart, it goes back to the Hebrew word lab, which means your mind. Cleanse your mind from all wickedness. It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 47 and verse 12. And by the river upon the banks thereof on the side, and on that side shall grow all trees for meat, whose leaf shall not fade, neither shall the fruit thereof be consumed. It shall bring forth new fruits according to his months, because their waters they issued out of the sanctuary, and the fruit thereof shall be for meat, and the leaf thereof for medicine. You got certain leaves, you kindly break them. If you got a wound and all, you can put it on your wound. So there are a lot of things, a lot of things. Like I said, the Most have created medicine out of the earth. The earth is filled with medicine. But of course, a lot of knowledge our people have lost. But the Most High still, how I say that, getting us, basically bringing things back into the open. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 38 and verse 21. For Isaiah had said, let him take a lump of figs and lay it for a plaster upon the boil, and he shall recover. So see that many tricks, basically, things that can help you heal. Like I said, certain vegetables, it's a lot of yeah, it's a lot of thing. And nowadays, we have the internet, so that also makes it a lot easier to find certain things. certain herbs. You just Google an illness and basically type afterwards a natural medicine, and you will find all kinds of herbs. So let me see. This is the book of First Timothy, uh, 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 first chapter 5 and verse 23. Drink no longer water, but use a little wine for stomach's sake, and dine often infirmities. So a little wine for stomach's sake, and that's also a thing. The scriptures talks about it. Like I just read. So you might have a stomach ache. You think you drink a little bit of wine, and that might even take away your stomach pain. For example, I as a painkiller, I don't take these tablets or whatever, that these pills that ESO been pushing to the max. For example, I've, like, let's say if I got a headache, a lot of times it got to do with drinking water, you know but sometimes it just won't go away. Then I make some tea from the willow tree, the bark thereof, and that's very good. It's like a natural painkiller. If you got a headache or whatever, you can drink that, and it will help you, on a daily basis. you know so like I said, the most I got yeah, all kinds of herbs, and to the spirit, and the power of Yahweh Basham Yahushai, things are coming to the light. And like I said, I do not believe that no non-disease is uncurable. Isa might do his best, but yeah, basically that, man. So yeah, I just want to do a kind of short video concerning the medicine which is growing all around us. Instead of running to Esau, and getting fucked up, we should get back to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and ask for guidance and understanding. So yeah, man, so that we can make the right choices. For example. But yeah, man. So with that, I want to give all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Rukakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone for teaching scriptures, among other things, and salutations to all the Achiom across the earth who do this work in sincerity and truth. So with that, I'm going to say Shalom.